The end of World War II marked a turning point for the world, but for many German scientists, it was also the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. As Allied forces swept through Germany, they encountered some of the most advanced technology and weaponry ever seen. This was largely thanks to the work of these scientists, who had been recruited and employed by the Nazi regime during the war. After the war, many of these scientists faced trials for their involvement in war crimes, but that was not the case for everybody. Some of the scientists found themselves at the center of a secret race between the United States and the Soviet Union for their expertise. One of the most well-known programs for recruiting Nazi scientists was Operation Paperclip. This top-secret program was led by the United States and aimed to bring over 1,500 German scientists, engineers, and technicians to work on military projects in America. While many of these individuals had been involved in war crimes, their knowledge and expertise were deemed too valuable to pass up. But who were those scientists? Join us as we uncover the stories of some of the most notorious scientists of Operation Paperclip. Wernher von Braun. Wernher von Braun stands as a pivotal figure in the history of rocketry and space exploration. His most renowned achievements include his leadership in developing the V2 rocket during World War II and his contributions to the United States space program, particularly the Apollo missions. However, von Braun's legacy is also marked by his controversial involvement with Nazi Germany, raising complex questions about the ethics of scientific progress during wartime. Born in 1912 in Wirsitz, Germany, von Braun displayed an early fascination with rocketry and space travel. This passion led him to earn a PhD in physics and to join the Verein für Raumschifffahrt, a German rocket society. His work caught the attention of the German army, and by 1937, von Braun became the technical director of the Peenemünde Army Research Center, where he spearheaded the development of the V2 rocket. This rocket, the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile, represented a significant technological breakthrough. The V2 program, however, came with a dark and troubling context. The Nazis used forced labor from concentration camps to manufacture these rockets, resulting in the deaths of thousands of prisoners. Von Braun was aware of the brutal conditions under which the laborers worked. Von Braun frequently visited the rocket plant, describing the conditions as repulsive. While he claimed never to have directly witnessed deaths or beatings, by 1944 it became clear to him that fatalities had indeed occurred. His role in this system of exploitation and his membership in the SS cast a shadow over his scientific accomplishments. In 1940, von Braun joined the SS. When shown a picture of himself standing behind Himmler, von Braun claimed that he had only worn the SS uniform once. However, in 2002, a former SS officer at Peenemünde told that von Braun had regularly worn the SS uniform to official meetings. He started as a second lieutenant and was promoted 3 times by Himmler, with the last promotion in June 1943 to major. Von Braun later remarked that these were merely technical promotions, received each year routinely by mail. After World War II, von Braun was brought to the United States. In the US, von Braun's career flourished. He became a leading figure in the American space program, contributing to the Redstone and Jupiter C rockets, which were crucial in the early stages of the US ballistic missile program and space exploration efforts. Von Braun's most celebrated work came with NASA, where he served as the chief architect of the Saturn V rocket. This colossal launcher was instrumental in sending astronauts to the moon during the Apollo missions. The successful landing of Apollo 11 in 1969 marked the zenith of von Braun's career, establishing him as a hero of modern space exploration. Hubertus Strughold. Hubertus Strughold was a renowned German physiologist and medical researcher. In 1935, Strughold joined the faculty of the Institute of Physiology at the Friedrich Wilhelm University of Berlin. Through his association with Robert Ritter von Greim, who later became Adolf Hitler's personal pilot, Strughold was socially introduced to Hermann Göring and other high-ranking members of the Nazi regime, although he never formally joined the Nazi Party. In April of 1935, he was appointed director of the Berlin-based Research Institute for Aviation Medicine. Under Strughold's leadership, the institute grew into Germany's foremost aeromedical research establishment, pioneering studies on the physical effects of high-altitude and supersonic speed flight, and establishing the altitude chamber concept of time of useful consciousness. His work primarily focused on the physiological challenges faced by pilots. such as high-altitude flights and the effects of extreme conditions on the human body. However, this period of his career is marred by ethical concerns and allegations of involvement in war crimes. It's been documented that Strughold oversaw experiments that were conducted on prisoners in concentration camps, where subjects were exposed to freezing temperatures and low-pressure conditions to simulate high-altitude environments. These experiments were part of broader Nazi efforts to enhance the performance and survivability of their pilots and soldiers, often disregarding the humanity of the subjects involved. Strughold's association with these activities led to his indictment at the Nuremberg doctors' trial, though he was never prosecuted. After the war, like many German scientists, he was brought to the United States. In the US, Strughold became a significant figure in aerospace medicine. He joined the United States Air Force School of Aviation Medicine and later contributed to NASA's manned spaceflight programs. His research was instrumental in understanding the effects of space travel on the human body, earning him the title Father of Space Medicine. Despite his significant contributions to space medicine, Strughold's legacy remains controversial due to his actions during World War II. Recent reassessments of his involvement with the Nazi regime have sparked debates over whether his scientific accomplishments can be separated from his unethical wartime practices. In response to these moral dilemmas, the Aerospace Medical Association removed Strughold's name from its esteemed Hubertus Strughold Award in 2013, recognizing the ethical implications surrounding his legacy. Arthur Rudolph. Arthur Rudolph was born on November 9, 1906, in Stepferhausen, Germany. Rudolph's early career was intertwined with the rise of rocket science in Germany. He earned a degree in mechanical engineering and joined the Verein für Raumschifffahrt, a prominent amateur rocketry society where he met key figures like Wernher von Braun. This connection led him to work at the Army Research Center in Peenemünde, where he became a key figure in the development of the V2 rocket. Rudolph's work on the V2 rocket placed him at the heart of one of the war's most controversial projects. The V2 rockets were manufactured using forced labor from concentration camps under brutal conditions, particularly at the Mittelwerk facility. Thousands of prisoners died due to the inhumane working conditions, and Rudolph's involvement in this program later became a source of intense scrutiny and moral questioning. After the war, Rudolph, along with many other German scientists and engineers, was brought to the United States under Operation Paperclip. In the US, Rudolph continued his work in rocketry, contributing significantly to the American space program. He worked at the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama and played a crucial role in the development of the Redstone missile, which was used in the first live nuclear ballistic missile tests by the United States. Rudolph's most notable achievement in the US was his work on the Saturn V rocket, the launch vehicle that ultimately propelled the Apollo missions to the moon. Despite his technical achievements, Rudolph's legacy is marred by his wartime activities. In the 1980s, the US Department of Justice investigated his involvement in the V2 program's use of forced labor. Facing the possibility of prosecution and denaturalization, Rudolph chose to renounce his US citizenship and returned to Germany in 1984. He spent his remaining years in relative obscurity. Kurt Blohm. Kurt Blohm was a German physician and a high-ranking member of the Nazi Party, notorious for his involvement in human experimentation and biological warfare. Born on January 31, 1894 in Bielefeld, Germany, Blohm pursued a career in medicine and became an influential figure in Nazi medical circles. Blohm was an early member of the Nazi Party, which he joined in 1922, as well as the SA. Blohm's most significant and infamous role was as the Deputy Reich Health Leader and Plenipotentiary for Cancer Research in the Third Reich. However, his responsibilities extended far beyond cancer research. He was deeply involved in the Nazis' biological warfare program, working on developing methods to use infectious diseases as weapons. Under the guise of cancer research, Blohm conducted inhumane experiments on concentration camp prisoners, particularly at Dachau and Auschwitz, where he tested the effects of various pathogens and chemicals. Blohm's activities were part of a broader Nazi ideology that sought to use science and medicine to further their genocidal and militaristic goals. The experiments he conducted were characterized by extreme cruelty and total disregard for human life. Prisoners were deliberately infected with diseases like plague and tuberculosis, leading to immense suffering and often death. In 1945, as the Allies closed in on Germany, Blohm was captured by American forces. He was tried at the Nuremberg doctors' trial. Blohm was specifically charged with crimes related to his involvement in biological warfare and the unethical medical experiments conducted under his supervision. Surprisingly, despite the overwhelming evidence of his heinous activities, Blome was acquitted. His acquittal has been the subject of much controversy and speculation, with some historians suggesting that in exchange for information about biological warfare and nerve gas, the Americans spared Blome from the gallows. Furthermore, Blome provided advice to American chemical and biological weapons programs. In November 1947, just 2 months after his acquittal at Nuremberg, Blome was interrogated by 4 representatives from Camp Detrick, Maryland, the center of the U.S. biological weapons program. During his interview, he identified biological warfare experts, their locations, and described various methods of conducting biological warfare. In 1951, Blome was recruited to work on the MK-Ultra program, an illegal human experiments program designed and undertaken by the CIA, and was subsequently hired by the U.S. Army Chemical, one of the successors to Operation Paperclip, to focus on chemical warfare. After being acquitted at the Nuremberg doctors' trial in 1947, Blome was never arrested or charged with war crimes again. He continued to practice medicine in West Germany and was politically active as a member of the National Conservative German Party. Well, that's it. Do you think the ethical implications of Operation Paperclip were justified by the scientific advancements it brought? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating history content. Thanks for watching, and until next time.